All right, we just had a wonderful Polaris episode with Francisco Crespo. We didn't have time for all the questions, so we're going to do a fun lightning round to get some of these other questions answered. So Francisco, I'll shoot these over to you. If you can just answer them, your thoughts off the cuff, I think this will be fantastic. So from Alex Duran, we have a question. How do you figure out monetary value for your service or good that resonates as emotionally fair?
That is a fascinating question. For me, that's precisely the difference between value and price. The difference between value and price is what amount of love have you been able to create for your product. And the longer question here is if you are milking your consumer base, if you have overshoot on your price, eventually you will start losing consumers because they will start having reasons to consider other offerings and try them. And that is a great way of knowing if you are not creating the appropriate level of value for your consumers. Is your consumer base shrinking? Well, then probably there's something that you're not doing properly. It can be you're charging too much price, or you have not been innovating enough, or you have not been touching the right type of messaging and experiences in the way you bring your brand purpose to life. Now, if your consumer base is expanding, then probably they're getting a super fair value equation, and that's why more of them are coming your way.
Love it. This one's from Amy Jessernig. Do you ever attain growth via your employees rather than consumers? Or if that didn't fall under your purview, how closely did you work with that team?
I think that one of the strongest differentiators, one of the strongest tools to create value for your brand is the culture and the talent that work together. So having a strong culture with the right values, with people collaborating, with people curious enough to use the scientific rigor and weave among functions, and having the brilliant people that are not only capable of working in that environment, but also that they are capable of capturing insights like no one else. They're able to see things that other people really don't connect together. That is one of the strongest competitive advantages you can create. So absolutely, people is at the center of any strategy. If you cannot get the right talent and the right culture in place, forget it. All the rest is PowerPoint.
That's great. This one's from Elimar Gueto. What are the basics of creating an emotional connection when creating a commercial? So this may be that two-dimensional interaction.
For me, the basics first, I would be sure that you have the right ritual in mind, that you understand what is the usage moment where you have a reason to be present, where that brings authenticity to what you're doing. Then I would be sure that you understand what is the human truth that is connected to that usage moment. What are the brand values and the brand personality that resonates, and probably if you have all that in place, you should be in a good creative space. Then you need people that know how to connect stories to convey those values and feelings and emotions. But if you don't do the first part, you end up having a super nice story, but people don't see your brand. And I see that so often. I see, wow, what a beautiful story. I can't remember what the heck was the product, or even sometimes, yeah, the product has nothing to do with this, but beautiful story. It would be such a good advertising for this other brand. You need to begin understanding what is the usage moment, what is the brand, the human truth, which is around which you're weaving this together. What is your brand purpose? and why you are connected to all this, and then you build a story around that.
Appreciate that. This one's from Federic Georges. How do you maintain emotional connection in the midst of PR negativity, be it real or perceived?
That's a very good question, and I think that question has a few angles. One angle is well, if you have a PR problem, you have to face it. I mean, that's the first one. There's no way out. Forget about, look over here, don't look over there. Here's my beautiful story. If there is a PR problem, you need to understand what is it. And that's one of the interesting things for me. Leadership has changed. Leadership used to be a privilege. My grandmother, may she rest in peace and bless her heart, she thought that being the owner of a banker or the president of the country or a famous musician was almost like being an angel and almost perfect. Today, my millennial daughters, think that if you are one of those three things, you're probably a crook. You're probably into drugs and you have earned your money the wrong way. And I think what is behind this is just that leadership is not a privilege anymore. Your society is expecting that you use that leadership for a purpose. They are expecting that you use that incredibly privileged position to make the world a little bit better. So a lot of times you need to go beyond reason. This is not about, is this a reasonable argument? Is this fair or not? This is more, am I being able to convey to the society that I am using this privilege to make the world better in a significant way? And I think you first have to solve that. The other angle that I was seeing in that question is your people. If your people are your main source of competitive advantage, you need to be sure that they are engaged and that they believe in what you're doing and they believe that it is worthy of their best self, that it brings purpose to their life and it adds meaning to who they are. So if you have that PR problem and you're not addressing it, probably it's eating in pieces your culture and your talent. So once again, you really have to go and get that solved.
This one's from Jerry Di Battista. This one probably a brief answer, but we talked a lot about a consumer.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think about this and building emotional connections for B2B companies?
That's a very good question. I think that the same logic applies. The difference is that the people that you're trying to influence is significantly more targeted. At the end of the day, if you're servicing a business, you need the people in that business to believe that you are the best possible partner for them to perform and achieve what they are trying to do. You need to show them that you really understand their business, you really understand their strategy, and that what you bring to the table makes their strategy stronger. And I think that's where you start building strategic value and not just transactional value. A lot of times companies just leave at the transactional value, and that is a mistake. You need to build on top of transactional value, strategic value, and hopefully even personal value.
It's huge. This one's coming from Charlie Beaumont. Hi, Francisco. Thank you for your time. What roles do you think the sense of place or location play in creating emotional connections?
Absolutely huge. And that's a little bit of what I was saying with you need to put your messages, pricing offerings together with your media, endorsers, and channels. So if the occasion you're trying to reach is breakfast, well, you have to build the credentials in the right places. Probably a bar is not the right place to try to convince consumers that you really understand breakfast because they are in a different place. So location, endorsers, media, the partners, the ecosystem that you build needs to be congruent with what is the usage moment and what is the human truth, and that has to work together.
How does that play into something like the world of Coca-Cola? I mean, as a place, as a physical entity.
I think the world of Coke is a good place where to go and see aspects of the system, not only the brand, but the system that you would hardly be able to envision. So you go to the world of Coke and you're able to sample, actually drink, all the thousands of products that we sell across the world. So probably you have never tried Inca Cola unless you go to Peru. Well, there you can sample a little bit. Or Thumbs Up, a product from India, or Limca, another product from India. So I think that it enables you to better understand the system. You will be able to see some of the paintings of Andy Warhol and why he connected with the brand, and so that the fact that in the can, whether you are an artist, president of the U.S., or a homeless person, you're getting the same product, and that democracy is something that they valued a lot and liked, and you get I think other more context and different context on the whole system.
That's great. We're gonna do like two more if that's okay.
Sure.
I know this is taking a little bit longer, but this is fantastic, and I know everyone's going to love these answers.
No problem.
This is really interesting. This is from Helio Cabram. How to create emotional connection with consumers in a market with so many stimulus and thousands of brands disputing or competing for consumer attention. Right?
Oh, I love that question. I love that question, and it's super fair because and it goes back to this little thing that I was saying. A lot of people see, everybody can read the newspaper, right? And then you can see what is in the news. Yeah. So saying that Bayern Munich won the champions, I mean, well, anybody that can read can know that. I mean, that doesn't create value for your brand. And I think that unfortunately you have a lot of brands just trying to get themselves as close as whatever is happening. Black Lives Matter, equality, climate change. I mean, a lot of very worthy causes, but they need to earn the right to be there. It needs to connect to their brand purpose. It needs to connect to the human truth in which they are rooted. It needs to connect to the brand and the usage moment. And a lot of times they don't start there. They just jump. Oh, look, this is hot. Let's just put a piece of ad that puts our brand next to this. And consumers, they are like, what is happening here? What are they doing? And sometimes it backfires. They are famous examples of companies that have tried to do that, and they have got burnt because they are like, wait a second, this is a serious matter. You're trivializing this, and rightfully so. They get their hands burned. So I think that the way you make yourself distinguished is by properly weaving it into a space where your brand is authentic and has a reason to be in, not just by attaching your brand to anything that is hot.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think we can finish up with this one. This is actually from somebody at Coca-Cola, from Nikos Kalatsidakis. Which brand strategies will win in the future and why?
I think the brands that are capable of weaving up their ability to collect information from consumers, first-party data, but you have to earn the right to get that first-party data. And the only way you can earn is by giving back, and you need to give back either personalized content or personalized products or personalized experiences. If you start And that means that you need to weave this process of getting first-party data to the way you create advertising, the way you do your innovation strategy, e-commerce, and you need to build your company in a different way. You need to build it around this new reality. I think the ones that are capable of building that, they're going to hook, and they're you know, rightfully so in the technology space. There are a few brands that have done that incredibly well. Consumers are willingly giving them more information because what they receive in exchange for that is just a significantly better experience. That's where you are in a sweet spot. And I think consumer product good have to learn very, very fast how to get that level of engagement.
Awesome. Thank you, Francisco. This is awesome. I love doing this lightning round, and I think people will love the follow-up on this.
Oh, anytime. Thank you so very much. I enjoyed being with you and chatting as always. So anytime, Daniel.
100%. Thank you so much, Francisco. Have a great day. We'll talk soon.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.